the feedback that we get on the experience for the resident from PrintWithMe is really, really positive. And all these property managers talk, and they know what works and what doesn't work and what makes the residents happy and not happy. And they want the stuff that's going to make the residents happy, because happy residents mean happy property managers, and they mean renewals, and it's the circle of life.
And what a great segue. What were the previous pain points that you're experiencing in a broad sense?
I mean, the biggest thing, I'll start with the biggest thing and then the small things will come out. I mean, the setup with our leasing office, or not our leasing office, our study lounges, and the ability to get all of that configured easily was incredibly difficult on our previous vendors. You had a printer that you then had to network to anywhere between 2 and 8 study lounge computers that we provide to our residents. And the only way that residents could print from their own device was if they had a USB stick, or they started unplugging things and just plugged their computer directly into the printer, which we don't love that idea. And then if something goes awry, the computer needs to be reconfigured or goes offline in the study lounge, then we have to reconnect it to the printer. It was a cumbersome process. It could take, upwards of an entire day to really get everything running when you have all these computers. And so what PrintWithMe has resolved, and goes back to what I said originally about making us more efficient and more agile. We used to go to all of these sites, and I would spend a day or two there getting everything set up and making sure that it worked. And as the pandemic hit this year, it became really clear that we were not going to be able to do that. I mean, technically speaking, we could have, but I have a now 10-month-old, but at the time 6-month-old at home. I was not planning on going to the middle of Alabama where everybody thinks that COVID-19 isn't real, and then putting my family at risk and putting me at risk, and just to install a printer. I mean, not to minimize things, but it just wasn't going to happen. And previously, if I hadn't been able to do that, or if Mark hadn't been able to do that, and neither one of us traveled this year, it would have been a really big struggle for our leasing office staff to be able to do. We probably would have had to hire a third party to get all this stuff set up. And I was able to write up really detailed instructions for all the leasing office setup, but setting up a computer that's been pre-configured, you just have to plug it in and connect it to the internet. It's really not that hard. It's most of our leasing staff are, between 25 and 30, and they grew up on computers. They're good. But I would not have been confident in their ability to configure the printer setup before. And this year, with the largest delivery of student projects that we've ever had, we had 9. I didn't travel to a single site to set a single thing up, and everything was set up on time. Everything works. We have no issues in terms of both our printer and study lounge setup. But I mean, it saved me a ton of time, and it saved the company a lot of money. And, truthfully, I get a lot of service questions about the different products that come through. And most of them I can't resolve. I just end up passing them along to the vendor. As I always say, if your computer breaks, I'm the wrong person to talk to. I'm going to tell you to restart it or defrag your hard drive, and then I'm out of ideas. I'm not an IT guy. And the number of complaints, concerns, issues that we have with our brother printers through PrintWithMe is astronomically low. I can't tell you the last time I had something come across our desk that wasn't related to just the initial setup and configuration. And that was just because there was hey, I need to schedule a call, or what's the network password again, or how do I change this setting on the printer? It's nothing like, oh, it's not working. And that was certainly not the case with our previous vendors. So it's all about reliability. It's all about efficiency. And one of the mantras that we use when we think about technology in our buildings is the same way that people think about the iPhone. It just works. People picked up the first iPhone and they knew what to do. You picked it up, you saw the icons, and you're like, I guess that's how I get music, and that's just how it goes. We have a lot of complicated technology in our buildings, and we want people to step into them, and it just sort of works for them. At the end of the day, that's what matters the most, because people's tolerance for learning a new system is low. It's just not there. You want to be able to live in a building and not, I always think of it as you're going to live in our property for 52 weeks guaranteed. You sign your lease, you got 52 weeks. You don't want to spend the first 12 weeks figuring out how to use your building. You want to be able to just do it. And so when you come in and the semester starts and the printer's there, you want to be able to walk up to that printer and use it. You need to print off a paper. You need to print off a syllabus. I don't know, you want to print off a love letter. Who cares? It doesn't matter what it's for. And at the end of the day, you walk up there, the instructions are incredibly clear, and it's just, boom, it's there. It just works. And that's so important to us because that enhances the experience of both the resident and our property staff exponentially.
You came to school to learn about a lot of things, but printers aren't one of them.
Nope.
That's funny. Okay, that was great. Those details really were tremendous. I saw something that there was a 90% reduction in help desk tickets. Does that sound about right to you? It's sort of similar to what you were saying before.
I mean, between you, me, and the trees, I think that's actually 90% is conservative. I think it's probably closer to like 98%. But 98% just sounds obnoxious. And so, kind of scaling it down a little bit just for the sake of believability. But like I said, I can't tell you the last service ticket I got regarding our study lounge printers. And when we do get them, almost universally, it has nothing to do with the printer. It's that there's a networking issue. We need to whitelist the MAC address or something like that. It's nothing that, or we're out of paper. These are just little things that have nothing to do with the functionality of the printer. I see, the number of service requests and complaints that I get about things from our property managers. There's 45 property managers who have my phone number and my email address, and they are not shy about using it. And that's great because I want to be able to support them and help them. And I don't get anything about our study lounge printers. I just don't.
Wow, that's tremendous. And in terms of, from a cost perspective too, I saw a number that I saw a 17% reduction in monthly expenses. I'm guessing that's monthly IT expenses. Does that sound about right to you?
I think we just said that was the reduction of expenses over our previous vendor. The month-to-month expenses.
Okay, this was really helpful. That nugget that 2020 was your largest number of student projects, especially during the pandemic, was really useful. Is there anything I'm not asking you that you think would help tell this story? Anything else that you'd like to add in? And Ashley too, anything I'm not asking?
I came in here, if there was a picture I wanted to paint, is that it's easy to use, it's easy to set up, and people generally like it. And that's what I'm seeing. And that's what matters to me. Our residents like it, our property staff likes it. It costs us less money. I can't think of anything. It's very rare that we find the center of that three-pronged Venn diagram that gets hit, which is awesome. So I oddly enough, I'm sitting next to, my wife and I share our office in our back room. You've seen her strolling behind me a couple times, and she has a brother printer that's through work. And so it really kind of all comes full circle. She loves it. It's great. Okay. It's quiet. You guys didn't hear it. She was printing this entire time. I guess I have some personal experience with it too, but ultimately, ease is what matters. And we've had a great experience with PrintWithMe. We've had a great experience with Brother, and I can keep saying flowery things if you want, but I don't know. That's a lot of sunshine for 9:30 in the morning.